Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am the Divine One and I'm bringing you yet another assortment. Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Grab your coffee, your tea, or your cocktail of choice because we have a lot to unpack today. I will be sipping on some Ciroc, child. I needed the hard stuff today. Now listen, anytime you see the words white women in my title for the next few days, you might want to listen to this in private. Don't play this loud in public unless you want people looking at you funny, okay? You've been warned. January 18th is fastly approaching. While some of y'all are talking about marches and kumbaya, I'm here to talk about pathology. Yes, we're diving into the white woman pathology today, specifically these pick-me, attention-starved, insecure goblins. I'll provide examples of the entitlement, the obsessiveness, and messy antics that come with the angry white woman. This is part of a series, and trust me, there will be gathering, roasting, and collecting of wigs like infinity stones until January 18, 2025. I'll be dropping these videos at high noon Pacific Standard Time every day. Today's topic, the audacity of white women trying to downplay black women while simultaneously exposing their own insecurities. Buckle up because I'm coming with facts, fire, and a few wigs might get scorched. Let's go.
Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Let's address the elephant in the room. White woman's fixation on black women. It isn't new. It's not revolutionary. This dynamic dates back to before Ruby Bridges was walking into school flanked by a National Guard while white women held up coffins with Ruby's face on them. Fast forward, and here we are in 2025 and still dealing with a different flavor of the same obsession. Modern day attention goblins love inserting themselves into spaces where black women are thriving, only to try to downplay their success. Enter Megan Thee Stallion, college educated, Grammy winner, business mogul, beautiful and unapologetically herself. Meanwhile, you have Botox Barbies and OnlyFans rejects whose entire resume consists PayPal screenshot and trying to get a bag off of whatever desperate ass black man would even have them. This man would have to be blind, stupid, and dumb all at the same time. I mean, Stevie Wonder is looking at him like, you don't see this bullshit? The comparison isn't comparing, but somehow they are still spiraling, just looking for attention, and they just grasp at any black woman of note for clout. Yet these women drag black women into their insecurity Olympics while they're out here minding their business. Black women are drinking mushroom tea, getting degrees, smelling roses, and living their best lives, far from the mess. November 4th was a wake-up call for black women. White women, you had the audacity to say this mess, this march on January 18th that you're planning is for all women. Nice try, stovetop Becky, but you need to understand, black women have said that they have entered their rest, okay? They're not going to be marching for any other groups for the foreseeable time period. We've seen the data, we've seen the statistics as to how everything played out, and I've already covered this in another video. I'm going to link it here. I don't want to rehash anything from that video. It stands on its own, but this is a completely different dynamic here. For some reason, Bethany still thinks that black women are still on their coming to everybody else defense when they've clearly stated they're resting. Now you want to conclave and get it together. Too late for that. You wrote the book, sweetie. Racist systems didn't spring from the dirt like dandelions. And now after the election, you want to sit over here now that you need black women. Then you want to try to deflect from your involvement in this election, from your example of why black women should sit this one out, why they should rest in their femininity. Any other time you're sitting over here calling a masculine, angry black woman. Now you need their help. And black women said, request denied. Moving right along. That's the playbook. That's the pathology. The only time you have any reverence or respect for black women is when you need them to march, when you need them to cape, when you need them to hold up your banners, when you need them to break your flag and protest for their issues. But any other times, disrespect and being chosen or being validated or being pedestalized over black women. Case in point, when you see irrelevant white women pretending not to know who Meg Thee Stallion is, her name is Megan, Meg, who, you know what it is, sweetie. And you know exactly who she is, okay? She's the woman that your man is thinking about every time he's with you, okay? It's not ignorance, it's intentional disrespect. It's them trying to downplay a black woman's success because because she stands as a reminder of what they'll never be and what they'll never have. Now, before we start with the deflections and counter narratives and rank gaslighting, we need to define what a me is to determine its application here. So let's get into it. Pig culture isn't just a term, it's a pathology rooted in psychological and sociological conditioning. Opera conditioning rewards behaviors designed to make you chosen, while sociological conditioning reinforces this through societal norms. For pygmies, this translates into an obsessive need to be validated, mainly by men, even at the expense of other women. Megan isn't just a rapper, she's an institution. Did I mention she's a Grammy winner? Did I mention that she's college educated? Did I mention that she's beautiful? Did I also mention that she's not an OnlyFans model? But hold up, wait right there. I'm sorry y'all, but it's time for a little light dragging. I'm gonna have to tug on baby Karen's wig just a little bit, okay? I have to pull it out. This obviously middle-aged woman getting her second life through OnlyFans and an endless supply of lip fillers and Botox is catfishing as a 20-something in order to compete with a 20-something. Ma'am, might I suggest that you get back to the Shady Pines retirement home you've escaped from before they send out a silver alert. But I'm not done with that wig just yet. Timu Barbie, and the face is melted, has an incessant need and obsession, if you will, to compare herself to another woman, especially a woman you just can't compete with.
But what is the real problem Botox Barbie has with Megan? I mean, surely she didn't do all of this to get dragged off social media.
I'm getting to that. Recent reports have surfaced involving Megan Thee Stallion's boyfriend, NBA player Torrey Craig, and allegations from an OnlyFans model named Jasmine Elizabeth. Elizabeth claims that Craig engaged in explicit communications with her and provided financial payments during his relationship with Megan Thee Stallion. Mind you, that financial payment was $100 through PayPal. She supported her allegations by sharing screenshots of purported messages and transactions. In response, Torrey Craig has publicly denied these accusations. He took to Instagram to suggest that the alleged messages were fabricated. He shared a video demonstrating how fake conversations can be created. Additionally, he posted screenshots showing multiple unanswered messages from Elizabeth, implying a lack of engagement on his part. Translation: this girl will talk to herself. As of now, Megan Thee Stallion has not responded publicly on this situation, as she should not. The couple's relationship became public in August of 2024, and they have been seen together on several occasions since then. It's important to note that these allegations remain unverified, and the individuals involved have presented conflicting accounts. Without concrete evidence, it's challenging to ascertain the veracity of the claims.
So, Ukrainian face Barbie is that what you're saying? Why did she go public with this fabricated receipt on that podcast?
Short answer, she did it for clout. It's what pygmies do. They will lie, cheat, and instigate conflict so that they can start trending, and maybe in 4 or 5 weeks, she can actually have 4 additional views on her OnlyFans. Meanwhile, Megan Thee Damn Stallion is giving 100% Welch's grapefruit juice realness as far as her face and her original body, okay? And Methany over here is filling her face with any clearance aisle discount Christmas Day Black Friday fillers and Groupon lip injections. Girl, go sit down. Let's not sugarcoat it. When a black man chooses a black woman, it disrupts the power dynamic white women have been conditioned to expect. The entitlement sounds like this: but I thought he only dated women who look like me. Translation: I thought my white was enough. When it's not, they spiral into the insecurity Olympics. But I think for the most part, a lot of white women don't understand that when a black man is telling them that they only date white women, or they over-rationalize why they only date white women by saying that it's because white women are so much easier than black women to get along with. They don't mean easier to get along, okay? They're dating you because you are white. And also, they mean easier to use, easier to intimidate, easier to manipulate, easier to have sex with, and easier to discard. Okay, that's it, that's all. Here's the truth. Black men often use whiteness as a band-aid for their unresolved issues. These women aren't being chosen, you're being used. But the deeper issue lies in the racial hierarchy that places white women at the top and black women at the bottom. The 2024 election was a glaring reminder that white women will always prioritize race over gender to maintain the system. Let's break it down. When she said, but I thought he only dated women who look like me, what she was really saying is that I thought I was the standard. I thought my white was enough. There is awareness there. She's aware of what she's doing. And it's this sense of entitlement that because you're white with some Clorox bleached blonde hair with split ends, looking like you're being treated for rabies or some type of T-cell deficiency, or maybe your pH is off, maybe you need to be more concerned with your health and a little less concerned about Megan Thee Stallion, okay? But this throwback, washed up, skeletal face, juiceless, Duracell, copper top, battery, vag having, OnlyFans, struggle face, pre-Karen, trailer park trash, Beck is emblematic of the divide of women as it relates to white women and black women. And the only thing that trumps sisterhood, the only thing that trumps the gender wars, the only thing that trumps the feminist movement is racial dominance. Because without racial dominance, these OnlyFans single dimension faced Karens like Jasmine over here would not be able to have this manic microaggressive tantrum as to why a black NBA player who chose Megan over her. And that's why she's really mad. This poor, unfortunate soul with her poor, unfortunate face can only go to a podcast by other beauty challenged white women or irrelevant, disease-infested Nick-style podcasts because they are not getting on to any white male panels or podcasts. You're not going to be on Adam 22, sweetie. You're not going to be on DJ Vlad, sweetie. You're not going to be on Joe Rogan, sweetie. I don't even think Joe Rogan would let you inside the studio unless you were there to clean it or something, John. But guess who can get on any one of those platforms? Meg the damn Stallion. Jasmine, hi. If clout was your meal ticket, you'll be experiencing a famine, girl. Your 15 nanoseconds of, well, we can't exactly call this attention since no one is paying you any. Maybe we can classify this as a fleeting look, or I don't know. But Jasmine, go ahead and set that alarm clock, girl. Go ahead and set that alarm for your main source of income, the Circle K, or more than likely, as I suspect, you're turning $5 tricks off of Instagram, and the men are demanding $2 change, girl. Moving right along. And I know what white women are saying right now.
Not all white women, Divine. I have a black girlfriend, Divine, but my best friend is a black woman, Divine.
The entitlement doesn't stop at this micro-analysis, this one example. Let's dig deeper. Let's go macro really quick here. And I'm nothing unless I'm going back down memory lane, okay? Let's take it back to before we had all of these various social media platforms. Let's go back to the late 90s, early 2000s. We had spaces like Black Planet, Black Voices, College Club, AOL Chat. Those were the grandfathers to the social media platforms we have today. But the behaviors of white women are still the same. Everywhere you went then and everywhere you go now, you had white women talking about how much better they were for black men than black women, how black men choose them, and so forth and so on. And what's the status of a lot of those white women? Just look on TikTok, Twitter, Reddit. Those white women are basically saying that they got the same black man that black women get. Shout out to Cynthia G. These white women talk ad nausea about how they are now single mothers and how his family doesn't interact with them, how that same black man that was choosing them, that was picking them, how he's abandoned them, how he doesn't return the phone calls, how he cheated on her, used up a credit card, brought tennis shoes, messed up her credit, so forth and so on. It just goes on. And they weave a nice little story, a harrowing tale about being a single mother when they're trying to relate to black women. And they only do this with black women. They'll have the nerve, ask black women, hey, let's partner together. Maybe we can show black men that there's an option to them being step baby daddies. They aren't getting sympathy or empathy from other white women, and certainly not from white men collectively. But who are they? The white women who got played by Smiths? Who are they seeking engagement from? Black women. Then they want to have this kumbaya, regurgitate feminist talking points that they've never practiced or only practice out of convenience. And the minute a black man shows them attention, they're back competing against black women, dehumanizing black women, demeaning black women, differentiating from black women, masculizing black women, rinse and repeat. And here's another example, an exemplar, if you will, of white woman pathology, especially as it relates to black men. I would be remiss if I also did not note how upset some white women get, even when that same white woman may have a black boyfriend or even married to a black man, when said white woman sees a white man with a black woman. Let's explore this observation, because the tables turn. As black women have begun to explore their options outside of black men, you're starting to see that dynamic more and more. A white woman could be hand in hand with her black husband and see a black woman all by herself and will find some way to get that black woman's attention. Normally, this is the obscure compliment. Oh, those are some nice shoes. Oh, I like your hair. This is all so that the black woman can see that the white woman is with the black man. And yes, that is pretty diabolical, but that happens a lot. The only time this does not occur where white women engage in this type of behavior is when a black woman is walking up the street with her white husband or boyfriend, because no matter what pedestal that black man has placed that white woman on, even she understands that he's placed you on that pedestal in a society run by white men. Meanwhile, this white man is opting for a black woman, which is happening more and more.
Well, Divine, why is this even relevant to this conversation?
Let me elaborate. The social hierarchy that places white women at the top of the beauty standards and black women at the bottom, like all other hierarchies, comes crashing down when the bottom falls out. White women, or any preference, quote unquote, will do anything to solidify that status, to maintain that status, including voting for obviously racist, misogynist, and rapey type men to protect the system that propped them socially. Not pay equity, not women's rights, not women's health. The 2024 election proved that white women, again, will choose race over gender because they benefit from racism more. But social status and class is not the only issue here. Gender is not the only issue here. It's about race and entitlement. For instance, let's talk about Idina Menzel. Idina has discussed challenges related to her interracial marriage with actor ex-husband Taye Diggs. In an October 23 interview, Menzel mentioned that their relationship faced external pressures due to societal perceptions of interracial couples. She noted that Diggs, being a prominent black actor in the black community, she need to say that part too, at the time, sometimes encountered disappointment from parts of the black community. By parts of black community, you know, she means black woman, because he was married to a white Jewish woman. Menzel explained that while the theater community was generally accepting, challenges arose when they stepped outside of that environment. She recalled instances where during public appearances, photographers would request solo shots of Taye Diggs, implicitly sidelining her. These experiences highlighted the societal challenges they faced as an interracial couple. It's important to note that Menzel's reflections were centered on the external challenges their interracial relationship faced, rather than any problematic statements she made about the black community. It appears that the theater and acting community are filled with black men who either interracially date or marry or are closeted gay, which is why interracial and non-heterosexual relationships are more accepted. But I digress. Don't get me wrong, Idina Menzel has talent. Her claim to fame happened not off performing in Rent, which although critically acclaimed, did not springboard her career. In fact, after she divorced Taye Diggs, after she divorced Taye Diggs, she received commercial success as the voice actress in the movie Frozen, which dwarfed anything Taye Diggs has done in his entire existence. I know he's seething. And Frozen opened the door for her to become a part of the Marvel Cinematic Studios hit show WandaVision as the character Agatha Harkness. Homegirl is set for life, but I would be remiss if I did not note that Idina is not acknowledging that her marriage failed because of her spouse, Taye Diggs. He was a coward. Let's take it back here. She said that photographers would request solo shots of Diggs, implicitly sidelining her, and Taye Diggs allowed that. She also said that Taye sometimes encountered disappointment from parts of the black community, again, black woman, because he was married to a white Jewish woman. But who was he being marketed to? Black woman. He even ensured that no pictures were taken with Idina. So let me get this straight. Black men can indulge in their preferences, quote unquote, and still have the expectations, the entitlements of black women support monetarily, but not have the expectations, the same entitlement of support from the women they pedestalize, the women they promote, the women they prefer. Black women aren't supposed to prioritize blackness or support blackness as it relates to their own issues. This occurs mainly in the black community because in the black community we center black men and black women center black men over their own issues. But white women can prioritize and support centering white men regardless of how mediocre they are, hi Donald Trump, as they demonstrated in the 2024 election. Girl, bye. The issue was her husband, and I have another video coming up with the three squares, Jaleel White, Taye Diggs, and Alphonse Ribeira, and I'll go into detail there. To provide clarity as to why I use this example is to show another side of the pathology of what white women do, is that you scapegoat black women for a lot of your issues, especially in interracial marriage or interracial relationship. On one end, you want to accuse black women of being jealous. On the other end, you want to accuse black women for being mean to you or your struggle buck over here. But you don't acknowledge that a lot of times those men are choosing you because you are white. That doesn't seem to be a problem for you. How those men treat you is far different than how they would treat any random black woman they encounter. That doesn't seem to be a problem for you. As long as you're being prioritized, as long as you're being picked, at that point, you do not care about what happens to other groups of women, especially black women. Let's be clear here. This isn't about Megan or even about the men. The core of white women's pathology lies in their loss of social dominance. The idea that black women can not only survive but thrive shakes the foundation of everything they've been taught. Black women are redefining success on their own terms, without approval approval, validation, or support of whiteness, and it terrifies them. This is why their allyship often feels performative. Blue bracelets, safety pins, and marches mean nothing when they vote for systems that uphold racial dominance. They march for themselves, not for justice, and certainly not for Black women. And this is why white allyship, particularly with white women, is a fool's errand. White women have always positioned themselves as the victims, even when they benefit from the system of white supremacy. They were the main beneficiaries of affirmative action, yet they consistently voiced opposition to the policies that would help all women. They cry Karen tears while dabbing a bone-dry face when being called out for being a Karen, but refuse to address it in their midst, contributing to why these things are now necessary. These marches are now necessary. I don't think you should look for Black women to come out and march for you on January 18th. I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for Black women to hoist your colors, to break thine flags, to wave your banners, and risk bloody confrontation with the police for the same reason that Black women have never seen you march on their behalf. Where were the marches for Breonna Taylor? Where were the marches and protests in support of the Crown Act? Where are the marches by white women protesting the fact that Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth than white women? Where are those same white women protesting and marching the fact that Black women die at the hands of Black men every 5.5 hours? Nowhere to be found. But they want Black women to rally for them every time their rights are threatened. I have 2 words for that request: no, sir. White women don't show up for Black women because your allyship only exists when it benefits them. You'll march under a Biden administration but fall silent under a Donald Trump. The math isn't mathing. To Black women, stop educating them. You cannot educate someone on a book they helped to write. Therefore, you cannot educate white women on a system they helped to create, they helped to prop up, and they benefit from. Stop marching for them. Stop explaining your existence to them. They know the history, they know the harm, and they don't care. Megan Thee Stallion doesn't need their validation, and neither do you. To the pygmy white women watching this, sit with this, go look in the mirror. Examine why you feel the need to compete with Black women. Reflect on why you're so threatened by their success when, as women, collectively you should be celebrating them as they are the ones that are winning as women. Reflect on why you feel threatened by Black women's success and why you can't celebrate them without centering yourself. There can be no kumbaya moments until you, as white women, collectively start checking the women with the mindsets that I've aforementioned here. There should be a host of white women checking and educating Jasmine as to her behavior. There should be white women checking and educating Adina Menzel on her behavior. Instead, the performative allyship with the blue bracelets and the safety pins, maybe you should be checking those white women online and especially in the workplace who exhibit micro tendencies toward Black women. Maybe you should work just as diligently to get Andrew Tate's platform removed for their anti-woman sentiment. You should also work just as diligently to have the platforms of white women who prioritize being picked by a degenerate Black man and attempting to antagonize Black women with these false narratives, false equivalencies in the overall anti-Black woman sentiment. Until you're ready to dismantle the system you benefit from, your allyship will remain as hollow as those clearance rack fillers in Jasmine the OnlyFans throwbacks lips. This 2024 election cycle was the last straw for Black women, and now they're acting accordingly. To them, right now, you are not an ally, you are the op. Well, it looks like our time is up. I thank you for making the time to go through it to the end with me. Like, share, and subscribe, please, and thank you.